There comes a moment in every person's life when they stand at the crossroads between what they are and what they can become. That moment is quiet. It doesn't announce itself with fanfare or celebration. It often comes when you are tired, uncertain, or even afraid. But in that silence, there is a whisper, the voice inside you that says, I can be more than this. That voice is not arrogance. It is not pride. It is the truth, the seed of self-belief waiting to grow. Growth does not come from comfort. It is born in the furnace of challenge, in the moments that test your patience, your resolve, and your heart. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful has walked through fear, doubt, and failure. They faced the dark nights when no one believed in them, not even themselves. But they kept going because deep down they knew belief is the beginning of becoming. We talk a lot about success, about goals, dreams, and destiny, but success does not start with opportunity. It starts with ownership. You must own your story, every scar, every mistake, every lesson, because growth begins the moment you stop running from who you are and start building from what you have. People will doubt you, life will test you, the world will try to convince you that you are not enough, and sometimes you will believe it. You will look at others and think they are smarter, stronger, luckier. You will wonder if your dreams are too big, if your time has passed, if you have missed your chance. But here is the truth: you are not late, you are right on time. Growth has no deadline, self-belief has no expiration date. Every day you wake up is another invitation to rise, to grow a little stronger, a little wiser, a little braver than yesterday. The people who change the world are not those who never fall, they are those who never stop getting up. Self-belief is not the absence of doubt, it is the courage to move forward despite doubt. It is the quiet decision to keep trying even when the odds say no. When you start believing in yourself, you don't suddenly become perfect, you become powerful. You begin to act with intention. Instead of fear, you begin to walk into rooms knowing you belong there. You begin to see failure, not as the end, but as a lesson. Growth is a dialogue between who you were and who you are becoming. Every experience, good or bad, becomes a teacher. The pain that once broke you becomes wisdom that rebuilds you. The rejection that once humiliated you becomes fuel for resilience. It is easy to believe when everything is going right. The true test of self-belief comes when everything falls apart. When your plans collapse, when your friends disappear, when your strength feels spent. That is when you discover the core of who you are. Do you give up or do you adapt? Do you let the storm break you or do you learn to dance in the rain? Every challenge you face carries a gift, the gift of awareness, the gift of strength, the gift of becoming. You cannot control everything that happens, but you can always control your response, and that response shapes your growth. Let me tell you something powerful: your life changes the moment you take responsibility for it. Not when someone saves you. Not when the conditions are perfect. Not when luck suddenly finds you. No, it changes when you stop saying, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? That is the mindset of growth. That is the heart of self-belief. Every person you admire, every leader, creator, or innovator once stood where you are. They were not born extraordinary. They simply refused to stay ordinary. They believed in something within themselves long before the world did. Thomas Edison was told he was too stupid to learn. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first television job. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. J.K. Rowling was rejected by a dozen publishers. Yet here's what they all had in common: they believed anyway, they grew anyway. Because when you believe in yourself, you stop waiting for permission to live your dream. You stop needing validation from others. You stop asking, am I ready? And instead you start saying, let's begin. The truth is, nobody feels ready when they start. Every journey begins in uncertainty. Every step forward begins with doubt. But growth comes from moving anyway, from stepping into the unknown and trusting that you will learn as you go. That is how mountains are climbed, not in one great leap, but step by step, breath by breath, with faith as your companion. So stop underestimating yourself. Stop dimming your light to make others comfortable. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. The moment is now. The power is within you. The belief is already there, waiting for you to activate it. You were not born to simply survive. You were born to grow, to create, to rise, to inspire. You were born to show others what is possible when one person decides to believe. Self-belief is not selfish, it is sacred, because when you believe in yourself, you give others permission to do the same. You become a mirror of possibility, a walking example that growth is not reserved for the chosen few, but available to anyone who dares to try. And growth, real growth, is not linear. It's not a straight climb to success. It's a winding path of failures, lessons, breakthroughs, and setbacks. But every step, even the painful ones, is progress. Don't fear the slow climb. Fear standing still. Don't fear failure. Fear regret. Don't fear the struggle. Fear never knowing how strong you could have been. When you feel lost, when the road ahead looks uncertain, remember, This you have already survived 100% of your worst days. You are still here, you are still breathing, you are still capable. That means you are undefeated, no matter how broken you feel. There is no weakness in starting over, there is no shame in taking small steps. Growth is not about how fast you go, it's about how deeply you learn, it's about showing up again and again, even when no one is watching. Because that's where belief is built, in the quiet moments, when you keep going without applause, without recognition, without results. And then one day something shifts. You wake up and realize you have become someone stronger, wiser, and more grounded than before. Not because life got easier, but because you got better. Self-belief is a practice, growth is a journey, and together they build the unshakable foundation of a fulfilled life. So wherever you are right now, whether you're at your lowest point or standing on the edge of your next breakthrough, I want you to know this: you are not done yet. The story is still being written, the fire within you is still burning. You just have to keep feeding it with effort, with patience, with faith. Believe in your ability to change, believe in your power to create, believe in the future you can't yet see. Because that belief, even if it's small, is enough to move mountains. You are the author of your life. You decide the meaning of your pain. You define the limits of your growth. And one day you will look back and realize that every detour, every delay, every disappointment was leading you somewhere better. The road of self-belief is not easy, but it is worth it, because at the end of that road, you don't just find success, you find yourself.